Hi everyone, how you doing? It's Peter here, and it is time for the PDG Advertising Podcast, episode 46. And today is the 15th of July, 2019. And you know how I like to update you on how the weather is in Northern Ireland here. It's what we call the sun is splitting the trees, or splitting the stones, as we say here. It just means that it's really, really sunny and hot. The office is like an oven. We're going to need to get a fan, our biggest fan, and get it blowing a breeze because it's too hot. So this morning we had our Monday morning meeting like we have every Monday morning, and it was really good. They are going on far, far too long, and I'm not sure why that is. It feels like time passes very quickly. And yes, I did just click my fingers there while I was describing how quickly the Monday morning meeting goes. But the things that we discussed on the Monday morning meeting, this is quite interesting. You might have heard a paper rustling there, and we print out, there's only two of us in the office at the moment, and we print out an agenda for our tasks that we have to do. Even though we work, right beside each other in the office, I think it's very important to keep a little bit of structure, a little bit of organization, a little bit of discipline into the daily workings of the agency. And to do that, we create an agenda. And on the agenda is our PDG Advertising Weekly Meeting. It's got the date, the 15th of the 7th, 2019. And it's got the team, which is Anthony and Peter. And then it has our pillars on there. And it's really important to be on there. And if you've forgotten, because I haven't mentioned it in a while, our pillars are customer growth, quality of service, and brand awareness. And we have those in our office mounted on the wall. And we also have them on our weekly meeting agenda, so that we keep those things in mind whenever we're talking about and to customers. We have a review of last week. We take a moment to step back and say, what happened last week? What did we do well and what did we do badly? We decide on our goals. Now, today was a really interesting day for goals. We normally will be working towards our goals, but today was a day when we could say that we actually met our goals. Our goals last week were to gain 3 new customers by a certain date, and we met that. We actually overshot that, which was great. Then our second goal was to bring on a new team member. More customers, we need more team members. So we did that last week, and we've got our new team member starting on the 1st of August. So what that meant for today is that we have had to create new goals, and these goals are pretty big goals, and we don't really think that it's a good idea to reveal those goals on right now, but like specifically what they are. But I can tell you what they are. One is about our environment here in the office. There's going to be change happening soon, so we need to prepare for that. Another one is about customer growth, and that's something that we need to focus on. So we've got another target for customer growth, and if you can guess what that figure is, that target is, then you win something. What do you win? You win something from the PDG Advertising office. You might win the aloe vera plant that's here. But we have another goal as well, and it's about our brand awareness for PDG Advertising. And although I don't want to go into the specifics of that, it's another growth goal combined with brand awareness. So we're really looking forward to attacking those goals as the week goes on. So what we then do in the Monday morning meeting is we then talked about something a little bit different. We talked about our own social media content. Now you're going to notice something a little bit different on the PDG advertising channels like Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn and Facebook. We've set up 2 posts per day One is the PDG Advertising Podcast in the morning. These are back episodes from whenever we were looking at the overall customer journey. So we're excited to share that with you. And then in the afternoon, we have a post, either industry news or a post from the PDG Advertising blog. And in the middle of the day, we are going to send some live action posts. So tomorrow you can probably expect to see me, my face, probably working in the PDG Advertising office at some point tomorrow. And then we'll do more of the team, and then we'll have more posts of some action shots of what we do. It's either difficult or really easy to do content for your brand. And I realized that it's really, really easy, because we could either say, oh, we're an online agency, everything is difficult because it's all online, we do stuff for other people. But Anthony came up with some great stuff that we can do. I've had ideas for some stuff that we can do. It's really easy to do social media content for your brand if you're really interested in it and you're really into it. And we are, and I am. So being able to create this podcast, this podcast is just pure content from what's going on, in the day. On PDG Advertising, it's like a journal. It's something that we will use in the future to show what our journey was like. And this is content. The social media posts are content. The blog posts are content. They're all about getting out our message, which is one that is so closely tied into our pillars of customer growth, quality of service, and brand awareness. We just haven't nailed down that mission statement yet, but we certainly will do. So we discussed our social media content and decided a plan on how we get our selves out there a little bit more. And all of this is wrapped up in our goals. And then what we do is we go through our Asana lists with all of our customers in mind. So we go through every single customer, plan out what we have to do for the week, and make sure that everything will get done. And then we're in a great state after the Monday morning meeting, knowing exactly what we have to do and when we have to do it. And it's just a really great start to the day. It could be seen as maybe overkill, but I don't think it is. I think it's absolutely necessary. I think if it got to Wednesday and we hadn't done that, we would be absolutely all over the place. So I plan on us keeping up this PDG Advertising weekly meeting for as long as humanly possible, and it should be a big part of every tier of PDG advertising in the future. So today we did something really cool for a customer. We split out an advert set. What happens on Facebook ads a lot of the time is we have to make a few best guesses of what we're trying to do. And what we did about 2 weeks ago was we launched some adverts for a customer of ours who owns some very innovative SMS technology. And we are trying to get people to sign up to this SMS technology. And to do that, we're putting in front of people adverts that show off the best of the platform and show off the benefits of the platform. What we found was that whenever we were doing our adverts, that we were getting like a cost per click of maybe about 80 pence or maybe 90 pence or so. Sorry, it's an American customer, so it's in dollars, so it's about 80 or 90 cents. And there's something in me that always says, let's get that cost per click down and let's push it down as far as we can get it. And to do that, we need better creative and more matched targeting to actually wants the product. So what we did today after a call with the customer to discuss some options, we split out the ad set into about 5 or 6 different interest groups. And what we're going to do is we're going to run that for the next 48 hours. And we're going to measure and see how that's going. And whenever we see what ad sets have pushed down the cost per click, we'll then start to replicate that with more adverts like that. And that then gradually brings the overall cost per click of those adverts down. Now, cost per click isn't the be all and end all of online advertising, because you could be getting, 1 million hits, 1 million clicks for a really low amount of money, but they might not actually be producing any results for you. So a £10 click cost per click which actually provides a lead for a $500,000 software company, then that's well worth it. But a lot of people, you would say, well, each click costs $10. They'd be absolutely shocked. But I wouldn't have any problem with, $10 clicks if they were producing the results. $20, $100 clicks wouldn't even be a problem. It's not really like that, though. I think usually it costs somewhere around about at least 30 cent or about 25 pence for a decent click-through, for a decent cost per click. Now, we have seen clicks for, maybe 4 cent or 3 pence before, and they've been good, but we don't really ever get that first off. It usually takes about 30 pence per click for you to start to see results, and then you can really optimize down. Now, what's interesting is most customers start off at about $1 per click, which is way too much, but it's always a first guess for any customer in terms of the adverts that we're doing, just like this customer with the SMS technology. And that is something that we will continue to review and monitor every single day to make sure that we're doing the right thing. We also are mapping this to our reporting every week to show, what adverts are doing what and how well they are performing. So everyone, today on the PDG Advertising Podcast, we are going to do a little bit of a wildcard reading today. I wanted to make sure that the podcast is aligned with what's going on in the world on any given week, and especially in tech. So no better place to start than on the BBC News website. And let's have a look at some of the stories that are going on in technology right now. Whoa! My son spent £3,160 in one game. As politicians call for more regulation, you share your stories about children spending money within games. How on earth is anybody letting their child spend £3,160 in a game? Could you imagine if you looked at your bank account and it was £303,000 lighter because of some game? Who's at fault here? Are the parents at fault? Is it the game that's at fault? Is it hackers? Who is it? I don't know who it is. It's someone. There should be some blocks on that for sure. I think that's kind of crazy. But for that to be number one story on the technology BBC website is a little bit disappointing, I guess. I mean, are there not people trying to get to the moon and stuff, or new Neuralink? I know that there's a Neuralink announcement happening this week from Elon Musk and Tesla. So that's something that will be happening soon. I mean, you'd think that'd be a pretty big news thing. So what's next? Virgin Media probes why it blocked a giant GIF site. So what on earth is this about? So Virgin Media probes why it blocked giant GIF site Imgur. So Imgur is a site where you can find GIFs, I guess, and it's investigating why it has mistakenly blocked customers from it. Yeah, I suppose this speaks to who owns the internet. I mean, is it the internet providers? Is that who owns it? Is it the people? Do we own the internet? Is it the government? They can just turn off any site that they like. I guess those GIF sites are probably quite black markety. They're probably quite black web, dark web, anonymous, all those different things. So I wonder if it's a case of there's been some inappropriate content put on there and they've had to block it for those reasons. But who knows? Again, is that one of the most important things going on in technology at the moment? There's one here that's just caught my eye, and it's quite interesting. So, porn blocker. So Margot James is extremely sorry for a delay in a porn age blocker. Listen, I don't know what your thoughts are on this at all, and I'm sure that we will see how this pans out. Where you have to put in your details in order to watch porn so that they know what your date of birth is. Sounds very Big Brotherish to me. Sounds very totalitarian, but also on the same side, is porn a good thing? I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. I'm not convinced it is. I think there's a problem with unrealistic body image expectations or unrealistic expectations of people in the bedroom and things like that. But I wonder, I wonder how that will pan out. But what is really important about it is porn is actually it's one of the most done things on the internet, and it always has been. I mean, some of the first things that people ever did on the internet was, to download naked pictures of people. So porn is a big part of technology and a big part of the internet. One of the first things that got me into the internet, something that really got me inspired was I can't remember who the guy was called. I'm gonna look that up. I think he was called Eric Carnegie, and there was a video on YouTube about it. Let me just pause here and find that so I can get a little bit more information on it. Eric Quailman, Socialnomics. That was the book, and we bought the book, and I must buy the book again, and I must show it to Anthony and the team and post it out there. This video on YouTube was an advertisement for the book, but it didn't really look like an advertisement. It was wonderful. It had a soundtrack that was from Fatboy Slim, and it was the song Right Here, Right Now, or called Evolution. Well, the video was about Evolution from Fatboy Slim. But anyway, that was the background, and it's a really haunting track, and it's very atmospheric, and it's very rousing, and it's amazing. And this video just goes through. If you look it up on YouTube, Socialnomics, Eric Quailman, it's bound to be one of the first ones up there, unless it's been dragged down or something. How on earth he got the soundtrack for that, I don't know, and I must check that out because I'd love that soundtrack in a future video from PDG Advertising. But one of the first things that got your attention was one of the stats that they promoted up was that porn is the number one activity on the internet, and it's a driving force. It certainly is. There's a lot of ads on it. It's a dark part of the internet for sure. It's not one that gets the spotlight, but underground, it's one of the most done things on the internet. So I don't really have an opinion on it, but I do recognize that it's a big part of the internet. And from what it looks like is there's a little bit of a delay in making sure that people are over 18 whenever they're viewing porn on the internet. Oh my goodness. And here we go. Crypto for care homes, one bad idea. A plan to develop a cryptocurrency to help fund and run care homes is put on hold. Bound to be at some point where we figure out what this cryptocurrency thing is all about. Like, I've heard rumor of banks creating their own cryptocurrency. Facebook have created its own. Bitcoin has soared in the last little while, as far as I know. And I think it sounds really, really good, but I suppose that's the point of it. It's deregulated and it's off the grid, which makes it so interesting. But I think it's about time that we figured out some way of using it that was really strong, instead of the volatility of Bitcoin or the untrustworthiness of Facebook or the banks. Goodness me, the banks creating their own cryptocurrency. I think that's a difficult one to try to stomach. But yeah. That's apparently crypto for car homes. Not a great idea. Let's get into this a little bit. So back in April, this is Rory Cleland-Jones, wonderful technology correspondent from the BBC, saying back in April I wrote about an unusual scheme that saw a car home organisation create its own cryptocurrency. Cara Lauren Carr wanted residents and investors to use the currency to buy rooms in its upscale homes and what it called care resorts. Sounds like a scam to me. I would be very, very skeptical about something like that. If Bitcoin can't get it right, if Facebook are only doing it right now, what hope has a care home got of getting that right? And are we trying to scam elderly residents? I don't know, but I don't like the sound of it. And a big news story that we'll end on is Facebook is to be fined $5 billion over the Cambridge Analytica scandal. This is something that's definitely a problem. And just as I said about the cryptocurrency, when Facebook are trying to bring out their own one called Libra, silly name as well, having it as a zodiac sign. I'm sure all the astrologists are going nuts about that. But I would suggest that Facebook, one thing that's really interesting, I read that Facebook's shares soared whenever they got the $5 billion fine because they anticipated it and they said, well, we're likely to get that. That's the world we're living in, where, you know, whenever you get a £5 billion fine, or dollar fine, sorry, £4 billion, that your shares rise because you anticipate it. I really don't feel there's enough being done to protect privacy, but that's a bit rich coming from me, and coming from PDG Advertising, who are creating adverts to go out to people on the internet. I don't think that we violate people's privacy, but I think that there's a lot of that happening, and I think whatever happened in the Cambridge Analytica scandal was not good at all. Having said that, I feel Facebook does more good than bad, so I hope it's around for a long time. But there you go, $5 billion is what they're being fined, and their shares soar. Just gonna look up what Facebook is worth right now. Yeah, well, there you go. So the Facebook worth is 68.9 billion. I don't even know what that would look like. How much is a billion? Like how much is a million? How much would that look like how much in terms of dollars, if you had a million, or if you had $1 billion on a table and then you multiplied it up by 68, or then you get fined 5 of them, you kind of, wow, still got another $63 billion to keep us all happy and keep us all in social media advertising and clicks. I'm not surprised they're worth that much. I know how much advertising costs and how much we pump into it, and we're a really tiny agency, so it's not surprising at all that Facebook are worth that. But anyway, that is the roundup of news for today from PDG Advertising. And it has been a pleasure to go through it all with you. That was episode 46 of the PDG Advertising Podcast, and I really appreciate you listening. If you've listened on a device or a platform like Spotify or SoundCloud or anything, it'd be really nice if you give us a rating on one of them. That would be really cool. Really appreciate it. It'll help more people hear this, and maybe more people get involved in it, subscribe and like and all those different things. But I really appreciate you listening to it, so thank you very much. And I'll be back tomorrow with episode 47 of the PDG Advertising Podcast.